Shalom, Kal Halayim, La Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem Rucha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles of GMS that rule well, who I learned this truth from, and salutations and blessings unto you elect, 144,000, all right, across the planet, all right, you brothers and sisters out there, all right, may Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai protect you and keep your house, and increase your faith in these perilous times, all right. So I'm going to start off with Obadiah 1 and 4. It says, the vision of Obadiah, thus said the Lord, power concerning Edom, right? Edom, today, you're known as Caucasians, all right? When you fill out, your job application, it says Caucasian or white, all right? That's you Edomites, all right? You nation of Edomites. We have heard a rumor from the Lord Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. Right? And the Most High has been doing that. Again, when we bring these scriptures out, and like when we talk about World War III, we've been in the midst of World War III for a few decades, right? It's the war starts cold. It's a cold war first. All right, we've been in a cold war. All right, with sanctions, embargoes, different financial situations, words spoken, different events and covert operations, all spark situations. They're all flares, right? So the Most High has made you Edomites, namely, all right, you Americans, America, all right, the great nation of America. You have been made small. Right, you have been made small among the Elamites, among the Ishmaelites, among the Moabites, among the Hamites. You have been made small. Right, and thou art greatly despised. Let's look up that word despise, man. Which is bazah, which means to despise, hold in contempt, to disdain. Look at this, to be vile, worthless. They're looking at you like a used up rag, man, from a woman's monthly. They're abhorring you, man. They're not liking you. Verse 3, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Right? The pride of thine heart. It deceived thee because that's that number one, that sign of an Edomite is that pride, right? What's one main way to identify an Edomite is extreme pride. Okay? And the clefts of the rocks whose habitation is high. And that's your history, right? All you got to do is you watch a movie called Quest for Fire. You're not going to see any Israelites there. It's all Edomites. All right? The movie's called Quest for Fire. Okay? That's your history. Your habitation was high. Verse 4, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, right? That's one of your main symbols. Right? That is your main symbol of America. The highest flying bird, right? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord Yahweh. And that's the premise for this lesson, is when these devils went up into space, that's when your kingdom really started to fall. That's when shit really went downhill, right? So that's why it says, thence will I bring thee down. And again, when you brothers read that, it's not like, in 10 years. No. Things move in procession of time. Things happen in a procession of time. There's events. All right? There's checkpoints. Right? There's an arch, so to speak. You start down and then you go up, and then you hit the climax. We're about to reach that climax. Right? So the premise of this, I typed in what happened to Americas in the 1960s, right? The 1960s. Now you got to take into account, before that, you had the 50s, which all you had was a small war in Korea. But pretty much that was the great time after World War II, after mid 40s. That was a great time, man, for industry to be an Edomite, right? You had Edomites living the American dream, man. And then what happened? It says the 1960s was one of the most tumultuous and divisive decades in world history. The era was marked by civil rights movement, which was small hat sponsored, right? Because it was aimed to cause instability, right? All these things, all this bullshit we're gonna read. The Vietnam War, which was a conflict that you should have never got involved in, but that was an enterprise of the bankers. And anti-war protests, countercultural movements, political assassinations, and the emergence of generation gap, right? And those countercultural movements was what? Free love, hippies, all that madness, whoredom, women's lib, which is again a banker's enterprise, right? So all these different things, man, it brought about the end to where we are now, right? It helped because Esau couldn't keep going the way he was going, man. Right? This place was meant to go down, and the year it really happened. We're gonna get it. Now let's see. Hold on, I had something else. The year it happened was 1969. Now, it happened in July 11th, 1969, right? And it's interesting to note, 7th month. Down here it says 5th month of the Roman, right? Renamed after his death and deification in honor of Gaius Julius Caesar, who was born in this month. Now, when we look up Julius, right, since it's in his honor, the word Julius, right down here, pertaining to or descended from Jove, from Pie, meaning to shine, in derivative sky, heaven, God, right? So it's just interesting to know they also picked that time, that month, and it was 69, right? And from there, as the Lord said, from thence I shall bring thee down. The 60s was already brewing up, your Edomite children being a bunch of degenerates, right? Doing drugs, LSD, magic mushrooms, your woman free love being whores, not modest. Jake's moving in with you, no more segregation. you you were going down from there, man. And then another thing of the elder Howard that can't be mentioned about serial killers, man. Serial killers, all those main guys like the Zodiac killer, Ted Bundy, all those main guys are those big name guys. They were in the 60s. And why? Because you had the CIA, right? They were running experiments during that time period, right? With LSD and MK Ultra, right? And they were actually running experiments on how it affects people, how can we use it for controlling people, right? So a lot of those guys, they were not acting out by themselves, so to speak. All right, they were actually used by agents, That's how this devil gets down, right? So it says I typed in when did serial killers peak? Numbers of peaked in the 70s. So right 69, and then it peaked at the 70s, right? When there were nearly 300 known active serial killers in the US. In the 1980s, there were more than 250 active killers who accounted for between 120 and 180 deaths per year. All right, and it died down, but we're in a hell of a time right now. We're not even in. We're in a time where everyone's gonna be a damn serial killer, because it's gonna get hectic out here, man. It's already, you feel the disparity. If you don't feel the disparity, you're just completely lost, man. If you don't feel the dollar tightening and the money tightening, and things getting harder and colder, grinding ceasing, you're completely bugged out, man. Right? Now also here, right, it says, this is from Rolling Stone, why were there so many serial killers between 1970 and 2000, and where did they go? Right? So that was just a headline. I'm not going to read this because they're not going to get into anything. But the headline I just wanted to bring out, they mentioned Dahmer and all these. But again, you brothers gotta get into that. One thing I'll put up. I'll tell brothers, check out a channel called Program to Kill. Hold on. Check out this channel. All right. It's called LOL Field and Love. But the videos, when you go on, it's Program to Kill. That's the headline. But he got a bunch of them, right? Like if you go on Popular, he has a bunch of them, man. Right? And he gets down, right? You got Jeffrey Dahmer. He has a a bunch of the big ones, but also the lesser. But pretty much he goes into got Paul Bernardo, which was here in Ontario. He goes into basically how they got down with the rituals and how they were used, man. So right, Robert Picton, that was here in Canada as well. So anyway, man, I just want to bring that out. Just food for thought. Brothers can get into this way more. You can extrapolate. But all those points about women's liberation, like for another example, in Quebec. Hold on one second. Let me I couldn't find it, but pretty much when you go into the history of Quebec, it was very conservative, very Catholic, and during the time of the 60s as well, you had a new liberation and all this this whole movement of counterculture, so to speak. And again, the woman just got loose, and then a lot of biker gangs and things like that started to form, and a bunch of hooligans and madness, disorder, whoredom, crime. So that it just goes to show you that time period is very significant, because as well 1969 is when the elder Abba Bivens came on the scene. And then later on, you had the great men, all those great men, Abba Bivens and High Priest Ariyah, King Masha, all the elders, and the truth came out, man. And that breath was put into the dry bones, which was a great work of the Lord. All right. Anyway, Ka Halalim La Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai Ba'Hashem Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors to the apostles of GMS that rule well. All right, and salutations and blessings to you elect.